Maybe we'll open there with the goaltender of the Everett Silvertips of Tucson, California. Calgary Flames 7th rounder joins us on video chat today, and the WHL goalie of the year. Dustin, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Appreciate the time, my man. Listen, what have you been watching on Netflix, or have you been watching anything the last 2 months? What's your Netflix recommendations?
Yeah, I think Netflix is kind of the go-to for everybody right now. I've been a big fan of Outer Banks. I don't know if you've seen it.
I got to write it down.
Watched it quite a few times. So yeah, and then there's just been quite a few other ones that have just been popping up, little shows here and there.
Okay, well, tell me what's Outer Banks all about, Dustin?
So it's basically 4 teenagers that are living off the Outer Banks, which is basically in North Carolina. That's where they film it at. And so you basically have the Pogues and the Kooks, and you got the rich kids and the kids that don't really have much, and they kind of clash. But it's definitely worth the watch. I've watched it probably 4 times now, and it's been good ever since.
Okay, excellent, because we're running out of things to watch. So Outer Banks, I have it written down. I might start it tonight. I got a lot of things to get to with you this morning, Dustin. I want to start with this. Tucson, California, is that your hometown?
I mean, that's what they listed at. I'm actually from the Bay Area, so Gilroy, California is where I was actually born. They list me as Tucson just because when I came to Everett, that's where I was currently living. So they kind of just default to that, but everybody likes the Tustin Dustin sort of rhyme, so I haven't really decided to change it.
Well, tell me about Gilroy, California, because you're talking to 2 Saskatchewan Prairie kids here. Gilroy, California, from that to the Everett Silvertips and the Flames is a hell of a road. What was it like growing up there? What's life like in Gilroy, California?
Yeah, Northern California, there's a lot of farmland. My grandparents own an acre of land, and he's been a hay baler for pretty much ever. And so I grew up doing that, and obviously came into hockey through the Sharks program. And obviously it's been a long road through relocating to the Los Angeles area when I was about 10 years old until 16 coming up here to Everett. So it's been a wild ride for sure.
Questions are coming in from our viewers already, so we, if you don't mind, we'll get to some viewer questions for you. But your hockey DB, you talk about the Sharks junior program. Can you talk about what that did for your development? How was the competition there at your age? Because you're an elite goaltender. Was the talent around you to your level, did you feel?
Yeah, I played up a year or two. This was in mites and squirts, and then by the time I was about 9 or 10, relocated to the Los Angeles area, which is where I played a majority of my youth hockey. But I mean, we had some amazing coaches. We had Nelson Emerson, Rob Blake, who were with the Kings, and Pat Brisson, who happens to be my agent now. So some pretty big name people for our coaching staff, and they help get you places in different tournaments and whatnot. So the competition was great, and I'm not sure where I would be if it weren't for their help throughout it.
All right. Well, I'm glad I asked the question. I'm glad you clarified it, because you mentioned the Sharks program, and then I see the LA Junior Kings, and I'm trying to put everything together here. You've been in a lot of places, and he's not a very old guy. But Colin in Ottawa writes in, and he says, can you ask Dustin why he chose to play in the CHL rather than going to the USA Hockey National Team development route like so many elite American players do? What would be your answer to that?
Yeah, I think just the opportunity I had in Everett. Our GM, Gary Davidson, kind of presented a pretty awesome scenario of just being able to come in my first year and play behind Carter Hart, obviously learn the ropes a bit, and then be able to play a lot of games my next couple of years. And it's kind of gone exactly to plan. I've played a ton of games over the past 2 years, and it's exactly what I wanted to do coming to Everett.
Some of the articles that I read with you, you spent 1 year with Carter Hart. Obviously, he was the starter, and you were the backup. But you said you learned a lot from Carter. What specifically did you learn?
I think just the details within life and hockey in general. I think You know what? He comes to the rink and he's very detail oriented, whether it be just a practice day or a game day. He's got his routine set in stone, and you know, it showed based on the ice and how he performed. He was spot on at all moments, and you know, it's something I strive to do each and every day.
And then your numbers, and you know, just going by strictly statistics, actually eclipsed Carter's. I mean, I know it's tough to talk about if you're a humble guy, but what really turned it on for you in Everett? You've been with good teams, obviously, chasing U.S. Division crowns and all the rest, but what clicked for you on the ice the last couple of years to this point?
Yeah, I think just consistently improving, and obviously you play more games, you're going to gain more experience, and you know, I think that's done worlds for me. You know, when you play over 100 games in 2 years, it kind of speaks for itself. You see a lot of different plays happen, and obviously I wouldn't be here without the amazing teams we've had, but you know, it's a total group effort, so we've had some great success over the last couple of years.
Good answer. And an obvious answer, more games, more shots, of course, and opportunity. You got that opportunity from the Silvertips. Another viewer of Monty in Saskatoon wants to know, what WHL city do you like to play in the most? Great question, Monty. Where do you like going in as the road team the most, Dustin?
I mean, there's a lot of them. There's some that you like to play more than others, but Seattle is always fun. Kind of biased, but it was nice playing in Calgary this past season for my first time. But I mean, obviously you can go to the big building like Edmonton and whatnot, but if you go minor buildings, like Seattle is always fun, very ruckus crowd. They obviously hate us, so definitely a fun environment to play in.
A couple questions have come in, one from Jason in Red Deer and also producer Clark. Similar questions. What is Dustin hearing about the Flames' plans for the upcoming playoff run? And can we expect to see Dustin in a Flames uniform? That's from producer Clark. Jason in Red Deer similarly says, are the Flames extending their roster? They're saying they are, right? Expanding their roster. Have you heard anything from the Flames as to a call-up here come playoff time?
Nothing regarding call-up. I mean, there's been some talks of possibly up there and skating to help the guys prepare for playoffs, but I mean, I would love that, but who knows at this point.
All right. And Dustin, last one for you. We just had a hockey analyst on here earlier this hour, talked about the guys having their seasons ended, whether it be 20-year-olds or 19-year-olds that we knew weren't going to come back, contending teams. With you and your boys on the team, what did you guys talk about with how much it sucked to have the season canceled, by the way, and how have you gotten over it, if you have gotten over it yet?
Yeah, definitely very tough. 5 games left in the season to the point where it got canceled, and you know what, we were really hitting our stride. Won 13 of 14, I think, going into that last weekend, and obviously we had a real strong group, and we had lots of confidence going to the playoffs that we could have done some damage, but obviously hard to think about now, considering that we didn't get the opportunity to, but you know, you got to kind of just move on at some point. So regroup and focus on hopefully next season, whenever it happens, I guess.
Absolutely. No, I get it. And the best days are definitely ahead. Well, Dustin, I'll say congratulations on this road so far and what you're putting together. Good luck in the Flames organization and appreciate the time. But most importantly, stay safe so we can get back out on the ice soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You too.
Thanks, Dustin. Dustin Wolf of the Everett Silvertips joining us from his home, and we appreciate the Western Hockey League setting that up and the Silvertips too. And that's a guy that, if they go away from interlocking schedules, which is what I hear is going to happen, to not be able to see a guy like that. Mind you, only would see him once every 2 years anyways, but if you really love the game, that's the kind of guy you want to see come into your building.
Big time. He's a star. And he's very, I mean, the goaltending factory is one thing. I mean, to go from Carter, Hart, and then Dustin Wolf right behind. But, you know, the kid's a star. He's humble. Bright future with the Calgary Flames. They're pretty excited about him, too. But yeah, you want to see these guys come into your building. It's what grows the game. You want to see the Matt Barzels come in from Seattle. You want to see these guys, Bowen Byram's from Vancouver, and
the Patrick Marlowe's.
Exactly. You want to see those guys.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I hope that maybe it won't happen for the next season, but I hope we get back to it for sure.
Who knows? Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, is it just me, or do these guys get younger every year? Quote from Curtis Hunt, the general manager of the Prince Albert Raiders, the older brother that I didn't need. He says, we get older and the players stay the same age.
Yeah.
I've never forgotten that. Now, having said that, I look up Dustin Wolf's Hockey DB, which, by the way, if they ever asked for a donation, I would just say, here's my credit card, take what you need. I'm on there all the time.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And they don't even ask for anything. But his picture on Hockey DB looks nothing like what we just saw. Facial hair makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
And longer hair.
Yeah. It ages them for sure. It changes stuff.
So when you're younger, you want to look older, and when you're older, you want to look younger.
I know, right?
One of life's juxtapositions.
And by the way, that Curtis Hunt line, it's Dazed and Confused, right? You know the movie?
Which one?
Dazed and, when he's hanging out beside us at the high school girls, I keep getting older. They stay the same age.
Oh.
Dazed and Confused?
Curtis stole it from...
It's not original.
Oh, dang.
But it is
you
great.
just ruined it.
But it is great. Still. Just keep it for hockey players, okay?
It was me. We'll break. I'm going to put up the Twitter poll for the rock star of the day because we've had all of our guests so far on this hockey day. And we'll come back with whatever you want to talk about. We've had Major League Baseball, CFL, NHL, junior hockey, whatever you want. It's you and us till the end of the show. We'll be right back. It's the Rod Pedersen Show, Facebook Live, Game Plus TV Network, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.